I found again and again, the less time people spend with the Bible, the less they like it, because they just hear this, that, or the other citation taken out of context.
But again, the selective passages that the atheists, they pick the passage that says, you see, they believe it's only 3,000 years old.
So this is where I think you have to go into biblical interpretation, the way the rabbis and the way that the ancients looked at it, which is when one thing is for certain, when you have two texts in the Bible, neither are necessarily true except where they agree. And the two things that the story in chapter 1 and story in chapter 2 say is God created the universe and God created humanity. Everything else is to teach us lessons. And we have two separate creation stories. So it's saying, it's begging one not to take itself literally. When Cain and Abel are the only two children of
how come there were
Adam,
more people?
Adam, and Cain kills Abel, and Cain kills Abel, and Cain goes and marries someone and starts a city. Obviously, there are other people around. The Bible is begging you not to take it literally, and yet, again, many of the atheist authors take it hyper literally. Nobody was thinking that. The Bible was a hugely revolutionary text that taught in the way of ancients through stories, but that it came to say what idolatry was. And idolatry, by the way, was everywhere. And people think, oh, idolatry is just about some quaint bowing down to statues, some magic making, maybe some weird rituals, and that's okay. But what they miss is that idolatry is a set of lies about power. It's about ascribing superpower or super authority to finite beings, people like us. But the whole 20th century was a catalog of god-king pharaohs. Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, the Assad family, the Kim family. I can go on and on. And they all use the same tropes as the god-king pharaoh. Statues, pageantry, myths, theater.
Military parades.
And of course, all demonstrated by demonstrations of brutal force. So how did he assume the authority to kill all the kulaks, starve a quarter of the Ukraine, send tens of millions to the gulag, and sadly so much more, and nobody questioned him. He used all of those same tropes. The connection that I think people miss to a certain degree is that idolatry takes place not only on the macro basis, but on a micro basis as well, in our everyday encounters. And sometimes we miss the idolatry, miss the deification. So let me give you some examples. How did Charlie Rose and Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer and Kevin Spacey, and of course that list sadly goes on, get the authority to abuse others, and in some cases brutally? Well, they set themselves up successfully as idols, as god kings. They were unquestioned and unquestionable within their industries. What they said went.
And the concentration of power.
They had super authority, essentially. I mean, they weren't Mao or Hitler, I'm not saying that. But on a small level, on an interpersonal, on intimate encounters, on day-to-day encounters, they had super authority.